When Liam's nervous, I'm nervous, so we're both a little bit nervous now.
That wasn't fun at all.
We got through immigration, but they didn't believe that we were a camper van. They thought we were a removals van.
It was like the worst, sketchiest start to entering France ever. So I think we've just entered the smallest country in Europe. Janine woke up to dripping on her head.
Welcome back to the channel. We're Janine and Liam Day, a married couple who have just completed 1.5 years full-time van life in the UK. And today is our first day in attempting to live and travel in our camper van conversion in Europe. To start our adventures off, we are heading to Oktoberfest, the most famous beer festival in the world in Munich, Germany. Our ferry is just pulling into the French shores, and this will be Liam's first real time driving on the right-hand side of the road. Wish us luck on this epic road trip as we head first to one of the smallest countries in the world, Luxembourg.
Welcome back to the channel. We are on the ferry. We've just landed in Dieppe in France and we're just about to disembark, and I'm absolutely freaking out about driving on the right hand side of the road. It really is it's my second time I've done it. I've done it briefly before. I didn't do well. It wasn't a nice experience. And so I'm a bit nervous about this, to be honest with you. Once I get past this nervousness of doing this, I can really start to enjoy it. But yeah, that ferry ride was 4 hours from Newhaven, which is in East Sussex. It cost about less than £100, between 90 and £100. There's no phone signal on board. There's no internet on board. There's no plant-based food on board. It was, it felt like quite a long one. But it's a nice day outside. We're looking forward to disembarking. The idea is we're gonna go on the other side and pull over somewhere, and so I can just regroup and get my head around what's going on.
When Liam's nervous, I'm nervous, so we're both a little bit nervous now.
I'm gonna use a bit of my French here.
Mange two.
Oh yeah, I've been saying gracias and hola to everybody so far. It's not good.
Start with bonjour.
Bonjour. It's salut, which is hi, isn't it?
Yeah, comment tu.
I'm not going to ask them their name.
What is your name?
Quel âge as-tu? Salut. Bonjour.
Do you have a packing list? A packing list for the removal?
It's a campervan.
It's a campervan?
Yeah, if you look on the other side, is that was actually really nerve-wracking. That wasn't fun at all. Oh my word, they had a go at us about the oh, here we go, what do I do now? Just take a right? I'm on the right hand side of the road.
Right hand side of the road, stay on. And just stick to
in 1 kilometre
that side. Is it right side? Yeah. Right hand side of the road, yeah. We got through immigration, but they didn't believe that we were a camper van. They thought we were a removals van, and they had to come in and check. And they stared at it for ages, actually, like in disbelief. And then move over, Liam. And then and they signed us off, but yeah, they didn't believe it to start with. We continued with our first drive on the other side of the road, Liam in full concentration and me reminding him to budge over to the right. The small roads made it all the more difficult.
Roads are bloody tiny.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah, that's better. I don't understand what that was all about. So we're going to look at heights. Yeah, so heights. You really feel like you're in France. There is no mistaking it whatsoever. It's confusing, it's strange, and hopefully we'll get used to it.
In the first 5 minutes, how are you feeling?
I'm just in super concentration mode. This is the first weird junction. I'm literally crossing over here, and it just feels really strange. Do I give way to the left or right or what?
I think I'm a little nervous, and so is Liam.
We need to pull over and have a cup of tea in a minute. I know that for damn sure. Oh my word, that's overhanging a bit. So down this one, is it? Or is it down this one? Oh, it's gone down the wrong one.
Oh no. It's very pretty. We've been here for like 10 minutes now, and we're already in a very pretty part of the country, with lots and lots of hills and sea views and stuff. It's really nice. First impressions, very nice and quaint and pretty. What about you? Do you agree? Okay, no, forget me, concentrate on the roads. With Liam concentrating heavily on driving on the right side of the road and me enjoying the views, we decided to stop at the next town to regroup, stretch our legs and have a tea break. We parked up at a place called Pourville. Okay, so we had to park up actually. We decided to just pull over and park up somewhere. It was a little bit stressful because the roads are tiny and we're just new to it all. So we thought, right, okay, let's pull over, park up and let's go out and see if we can find a cup of tea and just chill. So that's what we're doing. We haven't parked up. This isn't a park up. This is just a parking space. And we're right by the sea as well. So it's actually, we managed to find a really nice place to go out for the first time in France. So let's go. Grump.
I'm not a grump,
Yeah,
that was just really stressful. I'm glad it's over, that bit. I've just got to regroup, have a cup of tea, you know, as what British people do when things are a bit stressful. And just work out what we're doing, where we're going, if I'm going to be able to drive on the right hand side of the road. That was a really good entry point, I think. That worked well. That was like 10 minutes worth of just 10 minutes worth of driving. But I do need to take a breather and just breathe in the French air. That guy, starting off, I had a woman have a go at me on the ferry on the way out because I was talking too loud and she couldn't hear the instructions, which is fair enough, but she was very rude. All that was going on in my head was how nervous I was about driving on the right hand side of the road. Driving through immigration took ages. When we got there, they had a proper go at us about filming and said it's forbidden. And then they thought that we were a removals van and they couldn't understand when I said that we're a camper van and they had to search it. It was like the worst, sketchiest start to entering France ever. and thankfully we got through and everything all right. But man, like hopefully we got to cross so many borders.
Oh,
hopefully it's not going to be that bad. Hopefully they accept Morgan in France, however long we're staying here for. Let's see.
Oh, poor Morgan. Might not be accepted. We headed off to stretch our legs. We went for a walk by the sea and it was absolutely beautiful. This place reminded us of where we wild camped the night before in the UK, called Seaford, with its promenade right on the pebbly beach and white cliffs at one end. We didn't find a cup of tea, so headed back to the van and made our own.
Okay, so we are back in the van. The heavens have actually opened and there's some sort of storm that's come over.
Please drive to highlighted route.
There's some sort of storm that's come over, but we are back in the van. Janine's feeling a bit sick. She must have got some seasickness from the boat because she was spent the whole time editing on there and looking at a screen. It sort of made her feel dehydrated, headache, that sort of thing. So what we decided to do was to actually leave France now. We've got to get to Munich by Friday. By the end of, not even the end of this week, we've got like 3 or 4 days to get to Munich. So we've decided there's no point hanging about here. We can come back to France another time. We're halfway along the route to Oktoberfest is Luxembourg. It is the smallest country in Europe, we believe, and one of the smallest countries in the world. So I don't know anything about it. I don't even know what language they speak. I need to look that up in a second. And make our way to... Oh, and I've got to remember to drive on the right-hand side of the road. Now we've stopped for a bit. I've got my I've got my composure back, and I'm really going to go for it now. Wish me luck. Let's go on the road trip to Luxembourg.
Okay, so I am absolutely shattered. So I've been sleeping, but anyway, I've just woken up because we were approaching a supermarket and it's closed, and we're literally searching around every single supermarket now and they all seem to be closed. It's a Monday, so it's not a Sunday, and I don't know, the place just seems really quiet and everywhere seems shut.
And by place, you mean country?
I mean country, yeah.
The whole of country, the whole of France is very quiet today.
Yeah, every single road we've gone down has just been like, there's barely any people here. It's just very strange. Still trying to get our heads around it and still trying to find a supermarket. So we'll see how that one goes. We continued our mission in the rain in France, trying to find a supermarket. We eventually found a convenience store. Right, it's chucking it down, so I'm going to run.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. This is our first French supermarket. Let's see what we can find. Bearing in mind we know nothing in French.
I don't know. I reckon we might get by.
Hummus, and there's guacamole here. Check that out.
Mushrooms.
Is it?
Let's take it easy for now, anyway.
We just found some soya yogurt, natural as well. Margarine, baked beans. Apparently they don't do baked beans here, but I found them, so it's probably the only time we're ever going to see them.
Did you get them then?
Get them.
Yeah. Janine loitering around the chocolate biscuit section, hoping that they're vegan.
Okay, food shop done. That lot cost us £40. We got a big bag full of stuff. We noticed the prices were a little bit more expensive than the UK, but we're not sure if it's just because it's like a specialist convenience store or something like that. And when we get to the bigger supermarkets, the prices will come down. We're hoping, if there are any bigger supermarkets, so far we're not finding any. So we'll see how that turns out. We're just gonna sort of dump it in and try and make some headway now. Get closer to Luxembourg, because we really need to get this show on the road. We were both feeling hungry, so ate a quick snack of hummus and guacamole on crackers before jumping in the front and making some more headway on our journey. We topped up on diesel, which we found out is called gazzoli, and made our way to find somewhere suitable to pull over for some food. We pulled over outside a church in a lay-by and hopped in the back. Okay, cool. So now Liam is going to make us some lunch. What are you making, Liam?
I'm making you chickpea tuna, and if you're watching this and you're not vegan, you're going to think, what the hell is chickpea tuna? And it literally is, you make tuna, like fish, but tuna mayo, and using chickpeas. And it's so easy, and it's bizarre how much it works, because you just blend up chickpeas with some mayonnaise, a little bit of apple cider vinegar or some lemon juice, and I've got a little bit of seaweed, but you don't really need that if you don't want to. A bit of sweetcorn, and yeah, it makes tuna mayo. It's really, really good. So we're gonna have that with a bit of crackers, some salad. Be really, really nice. And then we've got to get driving again. I'll show you what it is. Oh, and yeah, we're using our new gadget, which is because we've got a new inverter. You saw the inverter video where we can now plug in hairdryers, straighteners, and blenders. Woo! So you need to smash up the chickpeas just a little bit first, and yeah. Let's give it a go. Hey!
Woo! You can take my money, steal my car and sell my clothes. You can take the shoes I'm in, go on and take everything. You can have a bag.
It's like a deconstructed tuna sandwich. Looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We'll go for that.
Just leave that old piano.
We sat and chilled on the side of the road and ate our food. It was still raining outside and we were very conscious about the time, so ate up quickly before moving on. Okay, so that was some really nice food. We are heading straight off. We're not wasting any time today because we are under a bit of time pressure. We're gonna head off now. We're gonna try and do as much as we can do before it gets dark. And already the lights are starting to dim and stuff. So we don't want to do much driving in the dark, but I mean, we'll see how it goes. So we're gonna head off straight away and off we go to Luxembourg.
But it's so much harder than it sounds. I know it's closing if I just stand still. 'Cause you won't wait forever, so just hear me out. It is not like I don't want you. Just get.
So it's starting to get dark now. We're still driving. This road trip is going on for ages and it's still raining as well. Some things that we have both noticed driving through France is that firstly it seems to be really dead quiet everywhere, like very little amounts of people in the local towns and things like that. So that was a bit odd, but even more concerning is that we have not seen any public toilets for the whole of this road trip. They don't seem to have any at the supermarkets or the one supermarket that we went to. So obviously we haven't seen any other supermarkets, so we can't use those public toilets. So we're not sure what the crack is there. But we haven't actually seen any public toilets anywhere else, which is really weird to us because we're so used to using and seeing public toilets sort of everywhere in England. We know exactly where to go and what to do. We are now trying to find toilets, so yeah, wish us luck.
Oh, Luxembourg!
Oh, is this it?
Oh, we're in Luxembourg!
We're not.
Yeah.
Well, we just crossed just then.
We've just entered Luxembourg. It wasn't Belgium, it was Luxembourg.
Wow.
So we're now in Luxembourg. Well, that's odd.
That is really odd.
Wasn't it? There's just loads of signs all of a sudden and then bam.
So I thought that we were going to Belgium, through Belgium first, and then on to Luxembourg. And there's been loads of signs saying Belgium this way, Belgium this way. Unless we crossed through Belgium and then Luxembourg really quickly without realising.
So I think we've just entered the smallest country in Europe. Without even knowing it, really. You just went, there was loads of signs and then bam, smallest country in Europe. Luxembourg welcomes you, bienvenue. Oh, bienvenue. They must be French. They must speak French there, which doesn't help us out much, but welcome to Luxembourg.
It is absolutely pitch black outside now. Time is really knocking on, so we are heading to our first ever park up in Europe, and we are going there now. And I'm kind of excited, but I'm kind of really nervous too. I have no idea what it's going to be like, and yeah, I just don't know. I just feel a little bit nervous, so let's just see how it goes. We continued through the shiny wet streets of Luxembourg in the pitch black. It's slightly nerving doing this in a new country and totally not ideal at night either. But we got there and we were slightly surprised when we arrived.
That scared the life out of me.
Oh my god, that scared the life out of me. Jeez.
What is the parking ticket?
Oh, bless them. Oh, they're so cute. We finally arrived and headed straight to bed.
Get dressed up to go downtown. I'm all messed up on a Friday night. Not really here for a good time, but if you're up for drinks and a good crowd, raise your glass to the sky. Let's toast to.
Good morning and welcome to Luxembourg. Hey! Wow, what a drive that was last night. We arrived in the pitch black to this area here, and I have got no idea what Luxembourg is like. You know, it's amazing to not know what a whole country is like, but so far we like it. There's a really nice church behind us that we've just camped to next to last night that at about 5 o'clock in the morning makes the most incredible sound. It's not like offensive, it's you know, like the English church bells are quite loud and bolshy and bold. This is quite melodic and soft and nice. We've actually woken up this morning with a bit of a problem. Janine woke up to dripping on her head, or close to her head anyway. We did have a lot of rain last night, and we immediately thought that we've got a leak. Where it's coming from has leaked before. It's in the sky hatch, the Sky Max hatch that's directly above our head, so you know the hatch that gets us up onto the roof and is a skylight. It has leaked before, quite early on, but it's so strange, it's so intermittent, it's got no rhyme or reason to it. So the first time it happened, we were aware of it. I tested it with some water on top, with a hose, and nothing came through. It's then happened sporadically at different times, not so much during summer, but at the very start of summer, and then now at the end of summer. And so when it happened just before we went to Turkey, I went up onto the roof and resealed the roof with some Gorilla sealant stuff that they've just brought out. That's really, really good. Horrible stuff, but it sort of does the job. It's like liquid rubber, and it's meant for that sort of purpose on pretty much any material. Did that so that we could go away to Turkey feeling a bit safer about it. Came back, there was no leaks, which was really, really good. We have had it a few days ago, only a little bit, and it was above my head this time. And dripping down through the plastic of the outside of the skylight, and then this morning Jenny's woken up with it on her side. So I have decided to take the inside of the plastic out to investigate further, and I think I found the actual problem for what it is. But we have still got no solution to try and sort it out, and maybe you'll be able to help me with it. But yeah, we do need to get this sorted, and yeah, let me show you what it is now. Morning!
Morning.
Naughty drone flyer.
I know. I can't believe I got my first interaction with a Luxembourgian and I get told off.
Maybe it's because we call them Luxembourgians.
I wasn't sure what to say.
I calmed him down, he was all right in the end. We'll have to Google that and see what the crack is. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's go and see what the problem is up here. Excuse the mess. So, this is the Max skylight here. This is what we took off this morning, and this is what's underneath it. Okay, so I'm up here, and what I've done is I've taken off the outside of it, and I've unscrewed the this part of it just on this side, because this is where the water seems to be coming from, where the angle of the van is facing frontward down. So any sort of water seems to be coming from this way. Obviously water follows the path of least resistance. So taking this off, what I can see is underneath here, between these two, between the cladding, the reflectics, and the top fiberglass, remember it is just fiberglass on the top of this roof, is a lot of water. Big droplets of water, all collecting in this area. So obviously we're lying in bed and we're breathing on a rainy day like last night, which we thought it was the rain that was coming through, as you would do, as it only happens when it rains. The rain water is obviously cold. This is what I think's happening. So it's cold, forming a cold layer on top of the roof, on top of the fiberglass, and then we're breathing hot air whilst we're sleeping quite close to the top of the roof, and it's just collecting in this area about 20 centimeters away from the SkyMax. All the way around is no insulation. You've just got reflectics, cladding, reflectics, and then the fiberglass on the roof. After 20 centimeters, there's obviously very, very thick insulation. So what's happening, I think, is it's just collecting a lot of warm air round here, meeting the cold air at the top and forming condensation. So the problem that we actually have is, I'm obviously not an expert with any of this stuff. I'm just sort of using sort of common sense. But if we put some more insulation in this gap here, this 20 centimeter gap here, will it be too much? And will condensation form in the gaps from it, or will it form what we need, and actually the actual where the hot air meets the cold will actually happen on the outside of the van, where it's hopefully happening everywhere else. Either way, I'm going to speak to some people that know about this. Going to speak to Neil at Urban Van Life this morning, and because he's got a lot of experience with this sort of thing. Ask him what he thinks we should do. My gut feeling is we need to stick some sort of homemade insulation in this, just around it, and then seal it back up, and then probably check on it once a month after that, as well as the main point being get some more ventilation in. These SkyMaxes have we've got ventilation panels here, so there's just like fly netted stuff, but wire fly netted stuff, metal. And that actually forms ventilation all year round, but it's clearly not enough, so it's actually trapping just up here. It's a situation because we don't want it started coming through the cladding, so it ran down the reflectics and started coming down the cladding. That's really when like some major alarm bells started ringing, because we don't want it going further down. There's underneath the mattress, there's more reflectics where it will obviously just pull up and be okay, but either way, no one wants water inside the van. So and what I'm going to do now is, you can see it dripping down here, just here, look, just there. What it's done as well is it's really soaked this wood. This wood's sort of crumbling away a bit especially on the end, on the cladding. So I'm going to dry this out, and then I'm going to seal it with some oil, and at least I'll probably make all of this waterproof around this edge, as much as I can reach anyway. And then I'll wait to hear back from Neil about what he thinks the best thing to do with that is, with regards to the insulation. Condensation issues we're still in September, and yeah, it was going to happen. It's our first bit of cold weather in the van, I think, and we're obviously in Luxembourg. We've gone east, And yeah, that's the situation.
Our van issues aside, we decided to go and check out Luxembourg City. Despite the rural areas being beautiful and a pleasure to drive, the roads within the city were quite hair-raising and windy, which is really confusing when you're used to driving on the other side of the road. We eventually found a parking space on the outskirts of the city and made our way by foot to firstly grab some food. We went to a cafe called Glow where we ordered some epic Buddha bowls, 2 coffees and some cakes.
Okay, so that was Glow, that was just over there. That was a absolutely banging Buddha bowl. One thing I will say about it was almost 15 quid per Buddha bowl. My God, is it expensive. The whole lot came to 40 quid. I almost died. So we're going to be on occasional treat in Luxembourg and travels, with lots of cooking in the van, I think. Either way, they were really nice people. The food was delicious. It was all like whole food, plant-based stuff, apart from that cinnamon bun at the end. And yeah, so now we've heard a little dicky bird rumour that all public transport in Luxembourg is completely free. So we're going to go and test that fact now and see if we can get into the city centre to go and see what that's like, and see if that is indeed correct, because we've seen a lot of buses going around and trams and trains and stuff, and that would be bloody brilliant if it is.
Okay, we just legged it onto the bus really quickly. Checked to see if they're going to the city centre, and they are, and we got on for free. You just let us on. It was really weird, but yeah, they're free.
Free bus.
Free bus. Now we knew that all the public transport was free in Luxembourg City, we headed into the centre to explore. Luxembourg is the second richest country in the world, with the current average minimum wage being over €2,300 per month. The city was full of affluent business commuters and of course some very poor people on the streets. We walked past Gucci and Armani shops, tall buildings and historic monuments, but we were really pleased to see so many green spaces, and apparently there are 17 kilometres of tunnels underneath the city. We also checked out what is described as Europe's prettiest balcony and agreed it was a simply stunning perspective over this incredible city in one of the smallest countries in the world.
It's like home, it's supernatural. One look in your eyes and I find it. When you leave in my mind I rewind it. When you got it this good, you don't fight it. When you're with me, nothing else matters. On grey days, I live in your laughter. I collide with your heart, I'm seeing stars. I let go of the past. I know this too shall last. Now I've been waiting all day to let you know that I wanna stay here forever. Playing it on like the radio. Don't see how it could be better. All I know is don't let go.
So, Luxembourg. What can we say about Luxembourg apart from the fact that it's very expensive and very pretty? We've had a really good day out here looking around and all the rest of it. We've used the public transport twice. The first time to great success, we came right into the city centre. The second time was just now, and it was Janine's turn to take the control of the wheel, and we are well and truly lost and well out of the city. We just had to jump off because we were going out of the bloody country almost. So now we're heading back. We're just lost. What we're trying to do is try and find our van. That's what we're trying to do, and it's really difficult when you leave your van in the middle of nowhere next to some allotments and you're trying to go back to it. So anyway, that's what we're going to try and do now.
We finally caught the correct bus to near where our van is parked. It was getting dark, so we strolled back to our park up by the allotment and hopped inside. We made some hot drinks and hit the sack.
Up is down and a down is up. When your half full glass looks like a half empty cup. When you're running into dead ends and everywhere you turn, well, seize the opportunity, live and learn. Hey, go with the flow.
Good morning. Today we have woken up in a really gorgeous spot next to the city of Luxembourg, and we're about, I don't know, a bus and a half an hour walk away. So half an hour bus ride, half an hour walk away from the centre. So we're right on the outskirts. We're right near an airport. So we had a really peaceful night's sleep last night, apart from when a plane came over, and the planes are really low here and they start shaking the van. Luckily it only happened like once every couple of hours, but it was really alarming when it did. Apart from that, it's a really nice park up. I would 100% recommend it because it's just really nice, and you've got your van life family as well. There's quite a few vans that parked here last night, and everyone's really friendly. You feel kind of safe when there's other van lifers here as well. It was quite cold last night. We had the extractor fan on, and I didn't have anything drip on me, so that's really good news. Hopefully, hopefully it's sorted, but I doubt it is. But that's one thing that we can do to make sure that we reduce it. We've still got other things we need to do. But other than that, yeah, this is a great park up, and we are leaving the country today. We're leaving Luxembourg, and I'm really excited because the next country is just so exciting. I've been looking at pictures online this morning, and oh look, a plane's going over. This is how loud they are. They're so close. So anyway, we're leaving the country, we had a good night's sleep, everything's good. Now let's go see Liam. Morning, Liam.
Morning.
How's things?
You're a little imp this morning, living with Janine. She has mornings where she wakes up and she's just mischievous, and she's an imp, and she does whatever she can to wind me up. And as if by magic, the plane's going over. I was just about to say, what a nice park up, apart from the extremely loud planes taking off, literally just above our heads. But apart from that, I would rate this as a really good park up. And if you're going to come to Luxembourg, come to this one because it's not far from the city, and it's a good one.
We hopped in the front of the van to make our journey to our next destination and to leave Luxembourg. We really enjoyed our couple of days here. Perhaps one day we'll return when we have a little more time and a few more euros.
Okay guys, I think this is the road that takes us, as we've been driving for about 20 minutes now, into Germany. The border should be approaching very, very soon, and that is the country that hosts Oktoberfest, which is the place that we're heading towards. It's on in less than 3 days' time. We've got a lot of ground to cover. It is the world's largest beer festival, or at least the most iconic beer festival in the world, and I've always wanted to go. It's massively high up on my bucket list. I'll be gutted if we don't make it. Thank you for watching this video, and if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and see if we make it to the world's largest beer festival. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Deutschland! We're in Germany!
Are we in Germany?
We just crossed the river.
Woo!
We just crossed the river and now we're in Germany.
No way!
Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right.